A lot of times we way overthink this. And so if I was sitting across the table with you, I would just say, what's the fastest path to cash?
Well, let's back up to working from home. And I want to take us back to that mom who is saying, all right, I really need to bring in some income. Our family's just not making it, or we're just scraping by. And she wants to be a blessing to her family and to her husband, like the Proverbs 31 woman. And she wants to do something, right? And so we talked about how, okay, this mom, the first thing might be figure out what you're passionate about. What are you good at? Because if you're not good at it and God has not gifted you in this area, you're going to be miserable doing it. Probably. You're not going to have the best attitude. Now, of course, there are some things we have to do that we don't necessarily love to do. But when it comes to working and doing something from home, we really want to do what God's gifted us in doing. So that mom, maybe she's just said, okay, I've got to do something. Here are the things that I enjoy doing. Here's where I feel like I'm gifted. What would you say to that mom? You're talking to her face to face. What advice would you give her on here's how to get started and get the ball rolling to help bring in some extra income?
A lot of times we way overthink this. And so if I was sitting across the table with you, I would just say, what's the fastest path to cash? Right? What is the easiest thing? Maybe you might call it the low-hanging fruit, right? Like
Mhm.
what's the fastest way for you to actually generate some income? Forget getting an LLC or a business license, forget figuring out a name, forget creating a website. Like what if you need cash, like what's the fastest way to get that? Can you sell cookies? Can you make a cake? Can you babysit? Can you dog sit with your kids?
Yeah.
Can you, like maybe you can sew, and so you can do repairs to clothing. Or I saw someone just yesterday selling headpieces on Facebook, matching mom and daughter or something. Like what could you do with the skills that you have to be able to put it out there? All you need is a way to take payment. People still write checks. There's PayPal, there's Venmo, there's all these cash apps now, right? It's not that difficult. You just need to put it out there.
Yeah, that is a great starting point. And that's such a good reminder of it doesn't have to be so complicated. I think we try to overanalyze everything, right? Especially as moms and homeschool moms, we have to think through every single detail of every single thing to the point of where it paralyzes us and where
Yeah.
we just don't do anything at all because we're so busy thinking about how to do it. There's a local mom here in our town who she started out baking cookies in her kitchen and it has turned into this huge business. Ended up bringing her husband home from work. He was working this job where he was working, 60, 70 hours a week. And now they bake cookies and cakes and all sorts of amazing things together. And they're actually opening up a bakery now that's going
Mhm.
to have a kid area for them, for their kids. They've got 5 little girls. And so it's going to have a little area for their kids to play and for other homeschool moms to go to, or moms in general to go to and bring their kids. And it's just amazing to see that it just started out with her literally baking cookies at home.
I would say also don't limit yourself to what you know. Like we said, ask the Lord what you could do, right? Let him open that up. But think about things that other people in your area may or may not be doing. Like, are you good at writing Bible studies? Have you created amazing lesson plans for your homeschool kids that other people would love to pay to have and be able to use as well? Have you, you go shopping for your food once a week or more often? What if you were to shop for an elderly person at the same time, right? Just thinking outside the box, even asking your kids. You'd be amazed at what ideas kids have for like, hey guys, if we had 20 bucks today, what could we do with that 20 bucks to turn it into 500 by next week, right? And just brainstorming and using that power of your kids, like lemonade stands are not out of out of
Yeah.
reach, but your kids will have some really creative ideas too. And maybe even, maybe you've got skills in digital design or graphic design and you could be someone's virtual assistant. Maybe you know how to answer emails and send them for someone. There's lots of people who need secretaries and that can be done remotely. So don't limit yourself to just what you know right now. Continue to ask those questions. How could we get other people involved in brainstorming and really seek the Lord for those things that come? And maybe your first idea is not the one,
Yeah.
right? Maybe it's going to take some time, but don't quit with it either because our God is faithful and he wants us to be faithful as well. If you seek him, you will find him. He has promised to provide what you need. Keep going after it.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.